If you're sitting there trying to hear mid-range and you're having a hard time, it's probably because you ain't got enough sound traps in your room. The sound trap being dense is the critical part of the sound trap. If you've bought that Amazon, foam stuff, like if you got that colored foam on your wall that's thin and it's just stuck to your wall and it's in a nice decorated fashion or whatever, it's doing jack shit. All it's doing is decorating and maybe taking away some high end. Maybe a little of the high range frequencies gone. Okay, that's it. Just the high end. It's not doing shit for mid range. It's not doing shit for the low end. And that's the stuff you really need to be messing with. People call that soundproofing. It's absolutely nothing. It's just clever marketing. Whoever came up with that word for that stuff tricked the whole world. The whole world. It's like, oh, you need it to be soundproofed in here? Just put that stuff on the wall. Everyone thinks that does something. It does nothing. Now, what do you need? You need a thick sound trap that's like 2, 3, 4 inches thick, an acoustic panel, and it needs to be off the wall about 2, 3, 4 inches. When I say off the wall, there's that air pocket between the wall and this thing is the reason it works. The sound travels through the sound panel, hits the wall, then tries to come back through the sound panel. When it's thick, the material is dense, it has a hard time, the sound getting through it. It has a hard time coming back. That makes it super effective. So I'm sitting here mixing, and I don't hear anything that's other than what's coming at me, and the sound wave itself doesn't hit the wall and then cancel itself out, resulting in a lower volume of that sound wave by not having the trap in the room. You gotta have the traps in the room. This applies even tenfold more for the corners. Bass frequencies will build up in your corners. You got to get rid of the corners in your room. Cut triangle pieces, fill the corners. Super helpful. Or you can buy corner traps, but you gotta. Don't just get the cheap shit that goes into the corner that does nothing. Ceiling cloud, same thing. Put a cloud over your head, just like on the walls next to your speakers and behind them. The same thing, over your head. Keep the air gap there, because that air gap is everywhere when it comes to studios. Whenever you're trying to isolate, attenuate the sound, make things quieter, less reflections, air gap comes into play all the time. When you're building rooms and you're trying to keep them isolated, what do you think you do? You build one room, you put an air gap, and you build another room. You could even build the walls with air gaps between the walls and double walls up for incredible soundproofing. That's how you soundproof. The density is a must, combined with air gap. The space is a must. You just don't get that by putting like a piece of nothing flatness against the wall. So this is what you need to do to your room if you want to really start to hear what's really going on in the room. More tips coming at you. This is Custom Cut. We got this. You got this. This is all you. You got it.